We're talking about balance. We're talking about balancing the mind, balancing the children with respect and love for one another. A lot of times we speak ill to our children about our spouse because we don't even like the fact that they're gone, or
Right.
we don't even like the fact that they're doing that. And all that creates is an unjust balance, not only in the practical things that are actually happening, but in the mind of the people who are living in the home. All right, listen, life is a balance. And one of my favorite verses, Proverbs 11:1. An unjust balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. The Lord wants us to have a balance in our life, a proper balance, not to be over leveraged in any one area, but to have a balance that's not ungodly, that's not leaving him out. And a lot of times our balance is an ungodly balance. We're making money, doing what we need to do, providing, skipping out on our marriage, skipping out on our kids, because there's other things that we want to accomplish for the world. And he's like, that's an abomination to me. That's a totally unjust balance. I'm not saying that you're not supposed to be in the world, but you certainly shouldn't be of it. And so you have to figure out how to balance the most important things. And one of the most important things in my life, got to say the right things, I'm on camera, is my wife. It's true. And she knows it. She's important to me. My children are important to me. But also the calling is important, right? So
Right.
I'm called to many things. She's called to many things. And so let's talk about that just for a second. So for me, it's ministry. I'm traveling the country, speaking all the time, chaplain for the Dallas Cowboys, writing materials. Some of you know with the books that I have out. What else am I doing? Leading the Next Gen ministry at our church, so I have to work locally here at the church. And so I'm always going and going and going. And we have 5 children, which means Kanika is doing what? What is your...
A lot.
That's exactly right.
Yes, so I'm doing the homeschooling of the kids, doing all the scheduling, which that in itself is its own job. And then all the sports, shuffling everybody, being an Uber driver, basically.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
So, and this is, to me, just as important. One of the things that I want to say is that just because the man is working outside of the house doesn't nullify that the woman who may not be working outside of the house is not still working and doing what I believe is the most valuable part. And sometimes we have an unjust balance in our mind and how we think of things. Like, I want to make sure that Kanika knows that what she's doing in the home, like, I feel like I go into the world to be forgotten so she can stay and be remembered. Like, she's the one who's raising the kids, making sure the legacy is intact, making sure that the kids smart, making sure that they're learning things, making sure they're getting everywhere they need to go, and all of those different things. So it's definitely a balancing act. And one of the ways I think, and you can talk about this too, but one of the ways I think Kanika respects me is by making sure the kids understand what dad has to do. So this will be good for all of the people, future relationships or in relationships now, with the balance, is that I gotta go. I mean, we gotta eat. I've gotta provide. So it's not just ministry, it's work. And we don't want our kids to have ill feelings towards
Right.
ministry.
Or resentment towards
Yeah.
ministry.
And a lot of pastors' kids do. They have resentment towards ministry because dad always got to go help other people. Like, dad always got to go help. Like, why isn't he here for me? He's always going to help other people. So she creates a balance, and I'll let you talk about this. She creates a balance in their minds with what she's doing and what I'm doing.
Right. So a lot of times, especially as Jonathan is either at work, which is at church, but it's still work, either at work or traveling for work. I like to remind the kids, because obviously for them, they're coming home and they're like, oh, dad's not here. Is he out of town again? And so I can tell that they're kind of shifting to a negative place of he's not actually in the building with us. And so I try really hard to remind them, oh, well, dad is doing this for us. Like, he's working for us. The reason we are in this house and we can eat and you can do all the fun things that you do is because he's going out into the world to do his work. So we're going to be excited for our dad that he's out doing that, and not sad or resentful that he's not actually here. So that's one of the big things that I try to remind them often, even if he's working, he can't come to one of their games, well, we're so grateful that dad is out there working. Some dads are not out there working. So,
And that's a huge, because I feel the burden of maybe being unbalanced, even though I have to do it. Like, I feel like,
because you want to do both.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know that I need to, but I need to be at the games. I need to, all of these things that we're doing. So I feel it. And I would feel it on a whole nother level if the kids weren't getting this word from Kanika. Like she's balancing them. It's not just us being balanced. She's balancing them in this, kind of juggling act
Right.
that we have to do. So now when I leave, okay, I got to go travel. I got to go to work, things of that nature. The kids are like, all right, we'll see you. They give me a hug. Thank you. Like they're just, they're have a whole different attitude because they've been balanced out. And so that is one of the ways that as my wife Kanika respects me and I feel the respect is because she's telling the kids not pout with me because daddy's not here, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. She's balancing them out.
And I think that translates to any job. It doesn't have to be ministry related. It's any job.
Yeah.
And really the roles could be flipped. It could be the wife that's having to be out and traveling and things like that. It's still the same.
It's still the same thing.
Yeah.
And so this is a little bit, I'm just jumping into love and respect here because that's one of the ways I feel respected. But one of the ways I try to love on Kanika in this balancing act is to make sure that she knows from me that I believe she's doing the most valuable part. To make sure that she knows from me, this is not barefoot and pregnant. You know what I mean? However the ladies be like, you just gonna have me barefoot and pregnant? No. This is the legacy. This is what we're here for. This is what we're doing. This is the most valuable part. Like I said before, I feel like I go out, on our deathbeds, nobody's going to be thinking, man, I wish I would have sent one more email. Right. It's going to be, are you surrounded by your family? It's going to be, do your children have your attitude, action, character, and conduct? It's going to be, what is the legacy that you look out, Lord willing, if you're able to see your children's children, like my grandparents. That's what she's doing. So one of the ways she respects me is creates that balance. But one of the ways I love her is to make sure that the kids know, don't disrespect your mom. I'm coming for you. She doing this, I'm on them the same way she's on them when I'm traveling, because I want them to see and have that balance of how this is working out. But I think it's important, and I want you to talk about this, making sure the kids understand that a part of ministry is work, not
Right.
just church. You know what I mean? They'll
Right.
resent the church if they don't think it's work. How do we
Right.
do that?
So we're very careful to say, like, if it's a day-to-day, Monday through Friday kind of thing, and he's actually going to his office, which is at the church, then we're specific to say dad is going to work. Because any dad that's going to work, wherever, it could be working in a hospital, working in an office building, a law firm. If a child hears their dad is going to work, they're not going to feel a negative way about that. They're going to say, oh, my dad's going to work. But if a child always hears, my dad's going to church. Oh, he's back at the church. He's back at the church again. Then
Or he's going to counseling.
Yes.
Yes, or he's going to meet with these people, or he's going to, something that feels like, man, how is the work for the people more important than being here for me? Mm-hmm. And a lot of preachers, because we had Pastor Robert Morris here in Dallas who mentors us. We probably see him 3 times a year. He said he kind of reaffirmed some of the things that we were doing, because him and Debbie were talking about how a preacher's kid can easily get lost in having a negative affinity towards God or the church because they're always taking my parents away. Mm-hmm. And so we have to be careful about how we do that. And so in your own situations, ours is ministry, but we make sure that they have a good balance in understanding how to think about how provision is coming into their life, how these things are happening. Kids think things just show up. Mm-hmm. We want them to know how these things actually happen. And so when we're talking about balance, we're talking about balancing the mind, balancing the children with respect and love for one another. A lot of times we speak ill to our children about our spouse because we don't even like the fact that they're gone, or we don't even like the fact that they're doing that. And all that creates is an unjust balance, not only in the practical things that are actually happening, but in the mind of the people who are living in the home. Right. So now it's just degrading. Everything is just going down. Okay, so I think another way that we balance, I think another way that we have a good balance is in making sure that we're not just busy bees, but that we're actually taking care of the marriage. Mm-hmm. Most people are so busy that the marriage takes a back seat. That is an unjust balance.
And it's easy for that to happen, especially once your kids start getting involved in activities.
Ooh.
You know, it can be a snowball effect. Whatever level of involvement you want them to have in their extracurricular activities or their interests can quickly snowball into all of your time is gone.
All of our life. All of our life is gone. I mean, and those are important things. We want our kids to be active. Our kids have to choose a sport or an art. They can't just be sitting around looking at these screens. You got to be active. So we want them to do it, but we got 5 of them, and they all doing it. So we are all over the place, but we also shut things down so that we can spend time together. And what was that book that we read that said the best way to raise your children is to work on your marriage?
Baby Wise.
Baby Wise. That's a good
Yes.
book for who?
Well, Baby Wise is what we used to get our kids to sleep through the night. And it worked. Like they were sleeping
Another
through
good
the
balance.
night
Get sleep.
by definitely before 3 months old.
Yes. So about
But
8
it was-
weeks, Kanika had them sleeping through the night. At 8 weeks. So maybe everybody's like, everybody who's watching this
That
right now
might
is
be
like,
the takeaway.
that might be the takeaway.
That might be the takeaway.
Because that'll give you some balance.
Yes, getting sleep.
Yeah, so Baby Wise taught us a lot of things. Number one, all of our kids were asleep through at 8 weeks. I'm talking about from, was it 12 to 6, right?
At least.
At least
Yeah.
12 to 6 at 8 weeks. Okay, so
Game changer.
that game change. She's,
You did it too.
I kind of helped
Yeah.
because you wouldn't wake up. Baby
What's
be crying.
next? What's next?
Yeah, unjust balance.
Wow.
What was we talking about?
That's why God gave our kids 2 parents.
Oh, good. Anyways, I always woke
Can't
up.
help that I sleep hard.
Yeah. But what were we talking about?
I don't know.
What were we talking about? We talking about
Working on the marriage.
yes.
That's one of the
working on
best
marriage.
things you can give your kids is working on the marriage.
It's working
because
on the
it
marriage.
provides security for them. If they see that mom and dad are going out on a date, they're like, oh, they're good. Like they're doing well. They're happy together. They're enjoying each other's company.
And a lot of times our busyness is lighter fluid to pre-existing problems. And so when you are busy like this and you're doing good things can have a bad result when the balance isn't right. And so you have to be purposeful. If I'm purposeful to schedule a meeting, why am I not purposeful to schedule a date? If I'm purposeful to schedule things that, my golf, this, that with my buddies because I got to take these clients out or I got to go do this and got to do this, then how is my wife or my husband not getting the same thing? Oh, because it's an unjust balance. And so when it comes to your marriage, we can go on and on, but when it comes to your marriage, think about your balance. Think about your balance, not only practically, but think about your balance mentally and emotionally. How are you talking to your kids to play up your spouse, or are you playing them down? How are you giving the information to them? How are you talking to your spouse to let them know that what they're doing is very valuable to the marriage so they don't even feel like they're unbalanced? So these are some short little tips and things that you can do to start bringing balance into your home so that your home can be balanced and it can be a just weight and a delight to the Lord. Okay, listen, that's enough for now. I know maybe y'all be asking more from her, especially on that Baby Wise stuff, and maybe we'll get to that. But be steadfast, unmovable, always abound in the work in the Lord, and know that it will not go in vain. Like, share, subscribe, ring the bell. Let's go.
Let's go.
In the comments,
I got to pick up Jade.
oh, yeah, it's 2. She's got to pick up Jay by 2:30.
Listen, this thing goes off every day, so I do not forget to pick up these kids.
We're going to keep that in.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's funny.
yeah, messed up. Yeah, you got to keep it.
We're going to keep it.
Okay, let me do it right. All right, everybody, you just heard it from Kanika and myself talking about balance, giving you some little tidbits that can help you. Like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, make sure you join, and show us in the comments what you think and how you balance, because we learn from you as well. All right, let's go.